Everybody stopping my shine. They try to break me, try to take me out, but I got Jesus on my side. Hurt so bad I thought I would die, but ain't no power stronger than the one that came and laid down his life. And I got mountains to climb, but the enemy can't stop me, cause there's a calling on my life. So when I'm crying, don't last too long, cause he gon' step in and make it alright. Won't he do it? He said he would. Fight your battles for you, they gon' wonder how you sleep at night. Won't he do it? Yes he will. Anybody tell you something different, you know that's a lie. You gon' look back and be so amazed how it turned out, it's only his grace. Won't he do it? He said he would. So I trust him at all times. I'm about to lose it again. I'm about to let him know where I'm from. Don't take me there again. I just call on Jesus, my friend. Get me back in line one more time, cause he's always listening. Ain't nobody perfect, everybody's hurting. Need your whisper, Lord, save me from my weaknesses, cause you're always on time. Come and get your breakthrough, cause I'm gon' get mine. Won't he do it? He said he would. Fight your battles for you, they gon' wonder how you sleep at night. Won't he do it? Yes he will. Anybody tell you something different, you know that's a lie. You gon' look back and be so amazed how it turned out, it's only his grace. Won't he do it? He said he would. So I trust him at all times. You see what the enemy planned for my downfall turned out to be the greatest victory of my life. Cause when it comes at you fast and hard, there's only one that could come and make it right. So ain't no need for stressing and crying, cause he gon' show up just like he did the last time. And the last time, and the last time, I know. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Yeah. Fight your battles for you, they gon' wonder how you sleep at night. Won't he do it? Yes he will. Yes he will. Anybody tell you something different, you know that's a lie. You gon' look back and be so amazed how it turned out, it's only his grace. Won't he do it? He said he would. So I trust him at all times. Won't he do it? He said he would. So I trust him at all times. Won't he do it? Yes he will. So I trust him at all times. Won't he do it? I know he will. So I trust him at all times. All times. So I trust him at all times.
You are tuned in to that praisey station, Praise.fm, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Hello, everybody. It's that time of the week where Girls Shine Project presents Keep It Real with Pastor Dre. Tonight, I'm so excited. There's so many things going on. We got Lady Rain back in the house, our wonderful owner and producer of Praise.fm radio here on Facebook and many other platforms. If you want to do your own show, you know what to do. You can either send me a message and I'll get it to Lady Rain, or you can reach out to her yourself through the Facebook. You can do it through Facebook Messenger, or you can do that, send it to my email. I'll make sure she gets it. I've got my old faithful, longtime friend now, Ann Sonia Burke. She was on, let's see, how long ago was it? Maybe 2 months ago. And we were supposed to do part 2 in October, but we had to push it back. And it's like that sometimes. Sometimes God will do that. Because the conversation might get started and it may evolve over a couple weeks. But I'm excited to have her back on the show. And for those of you all who have forgotten This is the book. I know it's probably not. Wait, let me move my light a little bit and see if this helps. I know it's going to be backwards, but it's iconic leadership. Do you see yourself as a person who is what's the word I'm looking for? Are you a follower or a leader? You know, that's the things that they taught us when we were in elementary school. You know, remember the game we used to play called Follow the Leader? Well, sometimes it's okay to follow a leader, as long as they're not taking you off a cliff. But what I appreciate about this woman of God is she's written iconic. That's EIKONIC, leadership. And it's 8 qualities that separate you from the ordinary. So I'm going to ask, do you want to be considered as an ordinary person or an extraordinary person? Just food for thought. But while I got you thinking, Carmen has already answered that. So she said misunderstood, LOL. Misunderstood should be my middle name. Because I'm one of these people who can say, oh my goodness, you look amazing. And somehow, oh my goodness, you look amazing turned into, she said I look horrible. In fact, let me correct that. I wasn't even there. I wasn't even in the room. And somehow I thought, oh my God, they look amazing. And somewhere down the road, it gets out that I said something about if only she looked amazing. Is that what being an iconic leadership could be like? Is this your life? I'm just going to say a couple of shout outs. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Pastor Lisa. I know you got class. Thank you for popping on. Carmen has been she knew exactly how long it's been. She said 7 weeks. I know Pastor Tammy's on. Yeah, she's been counting down. I know Pastor Tammy is on, but as usual, I don't know why I can't see everybody that's on. But there's like 15 people on here. Is your friend Nick Thompson, is she on here?
I can't see. Hi, Nick.
You see, I can't see her. Hi, Charisma. My daughter Charisma's on. Not sure if my daughter Crystal is on or not. Like I said, I can't see everybody. But I want to just welcome you to our weekly show. I've got some good stuff coming up in the new year. I'm sending my producer some text messages about, but I'm not going to say anything until it's solidified. But I am so excited. How many of you know that God will prepare you for things you wouldn't have thought of? It's just amazing. I'm just so excited about everything he's doing in my life. And while we're talking about it, I started my doctoral studies a couple Wednesday nights ago. And it's been so on fire with Heart Bible. I see the letters in my head and can never get it right. Heart Bible Institute University. One of these days, I'm going to get it right. I might be graduated by the time that happens, but the letters are just jumbling in my head. But I thank God for the opportunity. So every Wednesday night, that's where I am. Dr. Richard Reeves, oh my goodness. It's indescribable. I told Dr. Rain that I was a little tired tonight. And so I guess she thought that I was going to be my excuse for tomorrow night. I was like, nope, I won't be tired because I'm going to go to bed. I don't want to miss not one word out of his mouth. It's that amazing. So if you're looking to, you want to broaden your horizons a little bit and step on out there and get you a higher degree than what you already have, I recommend Heart Bible Institute. Lady Rain is the owner. She is the dean. Well, I'm gonna say owner. She's the dean of the Phoenix College. How about that? Before I get in trouble. So because I just start saying stuff, and she's like, I'm like, We just never know what God's going to do. But I'm really excited about one thing I know He's going to do. And you guys, won't He do it? That's all I'm going to say. Yes, He will. You just got to, in your mind, when you, there it goes. Heart Bible Institute University is globally connecting students for higher Christian education. Oh my goodness. All this on Keep It Real with Pastor Dre. I don't know where Kim is. I don't know if Kim was going to pop on tonight or not, but hi, Kim, because she don't miss nothing. Just because y'all don't see her on the camera, Kim watches the show. Somehow Kim, I don't know how Kim does it, but she seems to be able to be 20 places at one time. That's Kim. But I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anybody. No. So I'm going to start calling you Dr. Burke, because I see that coming one of these days. She is the doctor of iconic leadership, if nothing else. This book, I'm going to let you tell the people a little bit about your book.
So Iconic Leader was just born because, just as you talked about earlier, it being misunderstood, being a misfit, not, fly, we fly as eagles as Iconic Leadership. We don't fly with, every single person. Our thought processes are different. The way we interact with people is different. The way we think is different. And, I was always ostracized because of that. And so it has just been a blessing that God said, you're not the only one. And so the more I talked about it, the more I, began to talk about the book and share. People were like, that's me, that's me, that's me. So it is just, iconic in the I is the Greek of iconic, and it is the answer of God or man-made, God-made. And so basically it's just a different way that I wanted people to really think about, because we're different. We're not ordinary. We're extraordinary. So why not spell iconic in a different way as well? So that's how the book was birthed.
Awesome. With this new time change, we got Evangelist Burke in her car, and that tells you, because time change the first Sunday in November, and it's confusing for everybody. I know the first few years I lived here, I was just not thrown off, I was thrown off, because I moved here from the East Coast, where everything was 3 hours different, and it gets confusing. Like in one place that you'll get thrown off every time is to make the mistake of going up to Nevada. It would happen every time, because on Hoover Dam, the timeline crosses Hoover Dam, and I get to Las Vegas, and I'm like, what time is it? Hi, Kim. What time is it? Just lost, all confused. So when you text me earlier, I had no idea you were going to be in your car when you got home. But I'll tell you this, one thing about being iconic, just to even let the word come out of your mouth, you have to be ready in season and out of season. You never know when you might be called on to give a word. I know with Bishop Robinson taught me well, because it wasn't nothing for him to call me up there to prophesy to people. And I don't know, he's getting ready to do that. And when he did it, he expected me to have a word for them. I have to say, God, obedience is always the birthing place for suddenlies. When we are obedient, and obedience is a choice, when we are willing and obedient, the word says we eat the good of the land. So you always prepare yourself to be used by God in any capacity, because you never know. But what I want to say right now, I'm looking through your book, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't get a chance to read it, but I did skim read, because I'm reading like 15 books at one time. Plus I'm getting my doctorate, and I'm just behind on everything. So, but I'm not stopping though. See, that's the thing. Sitting here talking to my dean, Oh, I'm not stopping because I'm gonna get my homework done. But between this job, I have to make plugs for myself. But between this job that I love, um, I've just started doing Mary Kay. I don't know why I got all these things going on, but I'm gonna tell you, you have to be versatile because you never know what God's gonna do. I didn't go looking for Mary Kay. Mary Kay actually came and found me, and I just said yes. See, so they showed me a way that I could benefit and benefit at the same time. So I was buying it anyway. So hey, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Never know, it might pay for that new studio we need, Dr. Rain. You don't know how God's gonna do whatever He's gonna do. So having said that, there's a few things that I think that those of us who are iconic leaders, there's certain traps that the enemy has preset for our lives. And I often say to people, the worst possible position you could ever be in is when the enemy knows more about you than you know about yourself. He already knows because these traps are set for us from birth on. He doesn't do anything new. He runs the same old tapes over and over again. The biggest problem we have is we fall for it. So case in point, you talk about in chapter 2, the 9 spirits that break the iconic leader and how to beat them. Now this right here, this grown folk music, you know, how folks be talking about this my jam. You know, some of y'all young people might not know nothing about when something is your jam. With those of us who grew up listening to the radio, because the radio, between that and the 45s and those LPs that we grew up, see, they don't know nothing about that. That's when music was good. You had people like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Commodores, and Confunction, and all that old, that's considered grown folks music now. And what that means is, unless you're from Detroit, because you could be 20 and that music is still alive as if, you know, you were like it just came out last week. The people from Chi-Town and the people from Detroit, there ain't no such thing as old music there. But this kind of stuff, and I'm relating it to that because that's how, you know, some people don't understand unless you bring it to that. So
that's right.
I already said this is grown folks stuff. This is people who've been through some stuff, you know, confusion and depression. How does the enemy bring confusion and depression?
Well, basically, I think it's definitely telling you who you're not knowing who you are, and then just allowing the things that you've been through to continue to play that tape in your mind. And so it's so important that when you have that tape, that you start, as that tape starts playing, that you start replacing it with things that you know, such as the Word of God.
Yes.
And so that's how, if you don't know who you are, I was just talking with another pastor about this exact same thing, that is when the enemy can come in and bring you to your knees. And so it's so important that you know who you are. And when you start feeling those depressions and things that, you know, continue to haunt you in your, you know, in your mind, that you continue to pray and ask God to help you to renew your mind.
So, yeah, that's what I was just going to say, because that's what Dr. Reeds talked about that in our class last week when he was talking about anxiety and where anxiety comes from. As a therapist, I deal with that every day. I deal with it in my own life, but I also deal with it with my clients. I've noticed that it doesn't seem to matter what their diagnosis is. They are all dealing with the spirit of anxiety. And it's a big trap of the enemy, because I went over a lesson with one of my clients today, and it was in particular about the how we let our minds just get away from us. I remember the client's name, not my client, but the one that's in the book. Her name was Marissa. And it gave an example of how her boss came up to her. First, he said hello. And then the next thing he said was, "Oh, I really love the way you did that report." Just congratulating her on how well she had done. But in her mind, all she could think about was, "Oh no, he's listening, he's reading my stuff. I know I make mistakes, so now he's going to find my mistakes." This is the trip that the enemy took her on. So they do a scenario of a way that the therapist would help her work through her thoughts. And I thought it was so interesting because I found myself in that. Because oftentimes a person they give us a compliment, and now all of a sudden all we could think about is all the opposite of what they just said. So she wasn't even able to savor the moment, because all she could think about was, now he's noticed me. Now he's going to notice all my mistakes. Well, that's not even rational thinking, because what makes you think that was the first? Maybe he had already seen your mistakes and wanted to do positive reinforcement because what you did was so great. Or maybe he saw the growth process. We got to get out of that mindset that we're always doing something wrong. I know that's one of those areas that I have to work at, because immediately my mind will try to force me to believe that I'm making a mistake.
That's right.
And all that does is make you stuck. It causes you to be stuck and you don't move forward. You may not move backwards, but you don't move forward either. So there's one line here that I thought that you said, he does it because his focus is to get you in a place of doubt and mistrust. That's the whole point, and why he brings confusion. Because the word didn't never tell us we wouldn't be confused. He just says he's not the author of it, so that when confusion comes, we recognize we can recognize the source of the confusion. You know when the spirit is attacking you because you don't even want to pray or go to church. I'm pretty sure all of us have been in a place, if we'll be honest, where you don't feel like praying and you didn't feel like going to nobody's church.
Okay.
I know I have. I'll be the first to raise my hand because I live out loud. So y'all all know that. So yeah, if we're honest, there's always times when we just don't feel up to par. The next one you said is deception. Are you able to expound a little bit on the whole deception piece?
Well, it's deception is that the enemy, as we already talked about, he wants to deceive you into thinking. I used to think that I wasn't called because of all the things that I had been going through. And so he's very deceptive in his tactics to say, well, if you were, God wouldn't have you ordained if X, Y, and Z. And so you've got to, it all goes back to what is God saying to you in the midst? Even before you went, I called my situation a tsunami. But even before you went through the transition that you were dealing with, what was the Lord telling you at that time? Because that didn't change. Your circumstances have changed, but not what God's word says that you are, or whatever vision he's given to you. You've got to stand on that, because the enemy will poke holes in that. He'll make you think that the Lord didn't say that because, oh, look at you looking at this, or look how you're dressing, or look how they're looking at you at church. You see how they're talking about you? If you don't know that what the Lord has said, the enemy will deceive you into thinking you weren't called. At least he did me.
Well, no, that's real talk. If we would be honest, and that's what I appreciate about you all sharing, because people have a false sense of what leadership is about, and they think, oh, well, we don't go through nothing. That's a lie. No one wakes up one day and have it all together. No, we all have our struggles. We all have our challenges. You can call them whatever you want to call it. Semantics. You can say potato or potato. At the end of the day, it's still P-O-T. It's the same. So it's just all relative to what dialect you're used to. But it all means the same thing. I like here that you say unity and authenticity within the tribe is important for the work to be fruitful. Now, what that sounds like to me is, how can two walk together lest they agreed? Agreement is essential for anything to happen. If you don't have agreement, all you're going to do is you will be moving all the parts, but won't be going any place. 5 minutes already? I think there is a speed thing on mine. I know it's got to be, because like on my time, it's the quickest 30 minutes I've ever seen. Let me move on to Jezebel. The one that nobody likes, Jezebel. Oh, Carmen said your circumstances may change. Oh, she was commenting on what you said. Pastor Tammy said she's been there when we were talking about. And you know what, before I go into Jezebel, the whole thing even about the tribe, everybody's talking about their tribe. Everybody's talking about their tribe. Do we even know what a tribe is? Can you give us a simple definition of what a tribe is to you?
A tribe is your inner circle, or people that are attracted to you. People that have like-minded, just like an iconic leader. If you're misunderstood, or if you're, people have been calling you a misfit, you could be considered part of my tribe, because that is kind of what my brand is all about. So like-mindedness is basically what it is.
So in essence, what you're saying is, I guess we could choose to be in what tribe we want to be a part of. Do I get to just wake up and say, oh, I want to be in Aunt Sonia's tribe?
I mean, you could, but if you can't identify, because you can pick whoever you want, whatever tribe you want to be in, but you don't want to be in a place where you don't have any people that you can identify with, that you can learn from, because a part of it being in a tribe, especially an iconic leader tribe, is we're forever learning. One thing that you'll know about an iconic, a lot of us are type A personalities, the majority of us. We're always confrontational, not in a negative way, but we challenge each other to go higher, to be better. And so a lot of people don't like that type of relationships. And so you definitely want to be in a tribe where you're where you can grow, not necessarily comfortable, because I don't like to be in places where I'm always comfortable, because I'm not growing.
Yeah, which brings me back to being the smartest person in your circle. Then you need to find another circle.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that you don't love the people who were once in it. But now I got 3 minutes, so I better hurry up this out. But the whole idea is, I thought about that, about the whole tribe thing, because we use it. It's a fun word now. Everybody's talking about their tribes, but people don't necessarily really think about what a tribe is. It doesn't mean that everybody's exactly the same. We may have different gifts, different callings, but that likeness you're talking about, just because we're in the same tribe don't mean we want to do the same things. And it's okay to seek out a tribe, but I would rather be called to the tribe. Because if I'm summoned to the tribe, then that means I don't have to work at sustaining it. So I'm going to drop that there. I'm going to drop that right there. Because a lot of times we'll look at what other people are doing, and it doesn't mean you can't glean from them, but we have to learn to recognize who's really a part of the tribe. because some people may be just there just to guide you to a certain point. You know, God called you to be an elephant, but you didn't decide you wanted to be a giraffe. And you're wondering why you're not mixing with the elephants because you're a giraffe.
Mhm.
Okay, I maybe I'm the only person who got that, and I realize y'all can't interact with me, so I'm gonna say amen myself on that one. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. Y'all know I like to have fun. This, what you see is what you get. And if we can't laugh in these days, we will never laugh. We gotta learn how to laugh some, for real. So I love you guys. Stick with me for what, 30 more minutes. I promise it's only gonna be 30 more minutes, but it's gonna be some good stuff because we got all these things in our head that need to get out of our head. There's stuff in our hearts that need to get out. So while we're talking about some of this stuff and preparing for the next session, you guys work on your testimony. Don't go away.
Everyone who made it. Yeah. Any test or trial. Hopeless situation. Now you have a story. The angels can't sing. In glory. You're redeemed. From the hand of the enemy. Yeah. Here we go. Whether it's in the courtroom, fighting in the boardroom, trying to feed your family, or kicked out underneath you. God's able. God is more than able. He can turn the table. So turn and tell your neighbor now it's time for you. Yeah. Can I get a witness? Just need one more. The God's still opening doors. He's still making ways where others say that there ain't no way. And if you know this is true, get up, say. Ain't nobody tell it like me. Ain't nobody say it like me. You don't know the story like me. Ooh, testimony. Ain't nobody praise him like me. Ain't nobody praise him for me. He gave me the victory. Oh yeah. Here we go, verse 2. Anybody ever had a sickness? Been bound by any illness. Laid up in the sick room. The doctor said there's nothing he can do. Or they called your family. You cried out, Lord, please help me. 'Cause you knew deep down inside that he could heal you. Now let's fast forward. Hey! The doctors can't explain it. Some way, somehow. Somehow you made it. You never stop believing. Now you're walking. In your healing. Everything ain't perfect. Everything's not perfect, but you don't look like what you've been through. Now you can tell somebody. Now you can tell somebody if you didn't believe. Yeah. Can I get a witness? Oh, just one more. Just need one more witness. The God still
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info.
Good evening, everybody. This is Andrea from Keep It Real with Pastor Dre show. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad you guys jammed out with me. I can see Ursula said her knees hurt, but she was chair dancing for real. You know, this is what I'm talking about. When it ain't working, we learn how to make it work, no matter where we are. That's what our iconic leaders do. You figure out how to do it. Hi, Ronnie. My girlfriend says, talking about we is jamming in here. Exactly. If you on my show, you know we is jamming in here. And yes, we all are educated people. But we just like to have fun. And what I'm talking about, for those of you all who are just joining us for the second half or came on like right before we switched over, Ann Sonia Burke has written a book called Iconic Leadership. You can get it on Amazon. That's where I got mine. Specifically, the tagline is eight qualities that separate you from the ordinary. And we've been talking about, just to do a little bit of a recap, the 9 spirits that break the iconic leader and how to beat them. Because I feel like everything in the book is wonderful. I know that this is definitely an awesome class to teach, no matter what area of ministry you're called to. Everyone gets caught up with these things. So none of us are above it. But we talked about how the enemy uses confusion and depression. How he uses the spirit of deception. And right at the break, Jezebel came up. Now, most people know about Jezebel, and we always think it's some woman that wants your man. No, that's not who Jezebel is. Now, that doesn't mean that a Jezebel couldn't be after your man. That doesn't mean that. But Jezebel can be a man, because it's a spirit.
Yes.